How's it going, y'all? Episode 5 of Daima, and okay, maybe it didn't blow my mind, but it definitely blew Panzy's. It's all because Goku's just so ultra strong, and he lets her know it's due to all the training he's been doing. Was it just me, or did Panzy seem confused by the very concept of training? But I think it's more so that she just couldn't believe that any amount of training could get a kid this powerful. Might butcher this pretty bad, but the voice actress Feyreuz just brings so much eccentricism to the character, and she also sounded familiar. Come to find out, it's because she voices one of the most dope female protagonists, Jolene Cujo. Panzy takes notice that Goku's ears are round, so asks which demon world he could be from. Glorio thinks quick though on his feet and replies that he's from the second, which already shows you he has no problem lying at all. Or you could take it as a hint to a potential future revelation. With a very quick subject change, we see it's definitely a topic that Glorio wants to avoid altogether with Panzy, who's also a bit of a brat. Regardless, Goku lets it slip that they're headed for Kadan Castle, but she is not welcome along for the ride. She is persistent on joining though, so really putting the pan in Panzy. Meanwhile, the King's military are tweaking out in search of Goku, who's best described as the spiky-haired kid with a red stick, which kind of sounds like a mangy dog in heat. Panzy feeds Goku, so they're automatically stuck with her, which just seems like they could have had her join from the jump, but this also shows off how manipulative she can be. Kinda neat too to see the Earthlings be the weird ones with the whole name exchange, even if Goku's an alien Earthling. She wants to know what magic Goku's good at, and it's cute, this display, instead of, I don't know, doing something like the soul-snatching nuke attack, or the spirit bomb as he calls it. Panzy busts out her magic, and it's much more traditional tricks like telekinesis, although it's weak. Maybe it's because she actually is young, relatively speaking, and she would tell you that her field is actually engineering. She presses Shin on what he's doing as a Glenn hanging around the demon world since most of them have left. Why is that, I wonder? We see here that not every demon is evil. In fact, it seems like the majority of them aren't, so maybe it was some sort of moral dilemma. Glorio ends up snapping at her, so it's clear it's a topic he just wants to avoid discussing altogether. Despite how mysterious he's trying to be, Goku still informs her that his name is Gorilla. You got it. It's neat how Panzy's already more useful to the group than Goku. Besides strength, obviously, she's got supplies, contacts, and knows her way around a cavern. Apparently here, the lifespan's about 1,000 years, of which Panzy's lived 82. So add her to the anime women over 30 can't look at list. Despite how young she is, she quickly becomes the pack leader and guides them all the way to Castle Mid. It's fine if her and Goku bicker, but he needs to snap back. It can't just be 100% Goku says something absurd and Panzy calls him out. So according to Glorio, the king's an uncivilized brute, but Panzy says he has some moral compass. They gotta stifle that though, because the most important thing is getting a plane to rescue Dende. But actually, he's fine because the demon world has better childcare than we're about to. In fact, Goma is really invested in this child rearing, claiming Dende is gonna make them brand new Dragon Balls, which is my first and possibly only correct prediction. I wonder what he sees in Dende that makes him think that his Dragon Balls would be more valuable than Earth's. Is it convenience, or does he think that he could program these Dragon Balls a certain way? So Goku and Ko arrive to the castle and everyone's on guard. While Glorio thinks Panzy would be declined, it turns out she's got the face card. It's actually Princess Panzy. Right away, that explains the loyalty she seems to have to the demon world. What it doesn't explain to me is how Glorio didn't know that. I mean, how long has Panzy been out freedom fighting? As well, how many times has Glorio actually visited this castle? This guy's getting shady. We're starting the absurdity pile. For the demon world, it's pretty tame here. I want to get a bit more grimdark. We don't have to be cliche about it, but this is very mellow. At least the king's got some spunk. So I thought. He is actually pretty chill too. In fact, once he gets his fighters and their backstory, there's some sincere gratitude shown to them. And somewhat of a twist, apparently finding them in the first place was Glorio's idea to appease the king's grudge against Goma. You see, he's the man who's gonna be king of the demon world. And if that happens, Goku would get concubines. If he wasn't the hilariously loyal man-child he currently is. They reveal the plan to revert back using the Demon World Dragon Balls, which whips up a frenzy. Tamagami, Yagami, all I know is these balls have been hyped up for like a whole month. With build-up like this, where do the Tamagami compare to the other main villains? I would guess that they're about at Cell. If Boo is the benchmark, then the Tamagami probably aren't at that tier. But before the king concedes, they're gonna need to show what they're made of. Goku? Strongest in the world? I think Wiz would like a word. For this challenge, the king is even baiting his soldiers with higher wages. Oh, he wants them out for blood. And Goku says bring on the bloodlust. As long as there ain't guns, which I mean, yeah, I guess he's not completely bulletproof. The hype is in motion, but somewhat tempered since you know they're all fodder. I want to see some struggle at this point, but I know Goku's gonna flex to show the king what's good. Seems he's even revving up the Super Saiyan engine, and this scene is genuinely pretty sick. In my head I'm going though, isn't that overkill? But I think Goku's only checking if he still has it. He does. And boy are these guys' backs tingling. While it was a brief scuffle, I get the impression Goku's mostly all warmed up now, so the challenges should be about to ramp up. So after all that, the king's like, here's that plane you ordered, as well as everything else a man could want. Shin makes them aware the others are on the way, but I bet obstinate Bulma and co will run into more roadblocks than anticipated.
Oi! Haibis! 何してる?
バレエのレッスン。
Honestly, Goku and friends get a lot accomplished just by being personable, something Vegeta's never been described as. Like, Goku's group is even charming enough to get the others an escort, which the king pulls some strings for. Despite just about everyone's concerns, Panzy's still very determined to tag along on the trip, making her a true GT heiress. Goku's also low-key been advocating for her all this time. He clearly has some expectations for her that I think she'll live up to. Normally, kid characters get in the way, but since they're the majority here, I've got faith in Panzy and her new bodyguard's abilities. And despite Shin's confirmed suspicions, Goku doesn't seem to mind since it's all the same objective. They're on a rescue mission, and I feel like Glorio's holding some kind of grudge. It'll definitely add to the intrigue if their paths start to diverge. Now, with the king's easily persuaded blessing, the quartet's off to finally gather those Dragon Balls. They're off to gather those Dragon Balls, right? Well shoot, that plane plot point got dropped way faster than expected. Alright, we're 5 whole episodes in. There has expectedly been a whole lot of exposition, but I would assume we're about at the end of it. I feel that way because, well, now the squad's assembled. Of the 3, she acts the most like a kid, because at heart she actually is. Even then, she really doesn't annoy me here. She's quirky, crafty, and seems to have a lot of loyalty to Demon World 3. There's also her surprisingly peaceful parent, the king. Although would he show true, darker colors if he did come into power? Same for Glorio, is he actually aiming to rule himself? I'd say it's fine and dandy if Daima doesn't want to go the traditional route and make the Demon World gritty, but if we don't get tension here, then where? I guess we do still have 2 more Demon Worlds to hit though, so let's keep floating on. Giving this one a 7 out of 10.